And he's just like,
BBC Home Service. Bandwagon.
To go to the moon and misdecay and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Serving U.S. They think it's all over. Again.
Eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Just a few more sessions, and it should be done.
It truly is a splendid picture, Basil. Perhaps your best work so far. If I were you, I would send it to the Grosvenor at once. The gallery is too large and too vulgar. Every time I have been there have either been so many people I could not see the pictures, which was dreadful, or so many pictures I could not see the people, which was worse. No, the Grosvenor is the only place for it, if you ask me.
Don't think I'll send it anywhere. No, I won't send it anywhere.
Why on earth not? What an odd lot you painters are. You'll give anything in the world to gain a reputation, and as soon as you've got one, you seem to want to throw it away.
I knew you wouldn't understand, Harry. It's just that, I don't know, I've worked so hard in it that it feels like it's almost a part of me.
Nonsense. You and this delightful young man look nothing alike. People stop being beautiful when they start to think for themselves. They become all nose or forehead or else something completely horrid. You do not believe me? Just look at the lecturers in universities and you will see I am right. The only exception to this rule is, of course, the church, but then in the church they do not think. No, a bishop keeps on saying at 80 exactly what he was told to say at 18, so he's inclined to look fairly delightful. No, I'm sure this mysterious young man of yours in this picture demonstrates that. You do not resemble him in the slightest.
That's not what I meant. Besides, it must be hard to look like him. He's too different. You know, I've always thought that the ugly and the stupid have the best lives. They don't have to think about what society really thinks about them. I suppose it's the same with you and your rank. Me with my art, or Dorian Gray with his looks.
Dorian Gray, is that his name?
Yes, and I didn't mean to tell you that.
Oh, but why not?
Because it seems to me, Harry, that telling people the names of my friends is like showing my hands at a game of cards. I'm sorry, I suppose that must seem rather stupid.
Not at all. You seem to forget that I am married. And the one charm of marriage is that it makes a lifetime of deception absolutely necessary for both parties. I never know where my wife is, and she never knows where I am. We tell each other the most outrageous stories with the most serious faces. My wife is rather good at it. I must admit, much better at it than I am.
I reckon deep down you really are a good husband. This face you present to the world is just an act.
Opposing everything is the most interesting position I know, and the most irritating to others. I must say it's gotten rather warm in here. Too hot to be making up stories. Come on, Basil, tell me why you will not show off this exquisite work. What is it? Do you want to keep it for personal reasons?
Harry, I told you I'd become attached.
Oh, come now, you really expect me to believe the only reason you will not show off your work is because you've become too fond of it? That is childish. I expect better lies from an artist.
It's true. I think that every painting I've ever done is of me and not the subject. This is no different. Dorian was just the conduit for the art. Do you believe me?
I can believe anything, provided it is quite incredible. Tell me, how did you meet him? And spare no detail. I'm not some delicate aunt frightened by the mere mention of certain natural sciences.
Okay, let's start from the beginning then. 2 months ago, I was at a party hosted by Lady Brandon. You must have heard of some of the things that happen in Soho.
Indeed, I have heard of this Lady Brandon.
Now, why doesn't that surprise me? So anyway, I was at this party hosted by Lady Brandon and some of our mutual friends, artist types. You know how we artists have to show ourselves every once in a while just to prove to our friends that we still exist at all. Well, anyway, I'd been there for a few minutes talking to some of my friends when, out of the corner of my eye, I saw him. I saw Dorian Gray for the first time. Oh, Harry, I felt like a deer caught in headlights, but instead of fear, I felt strangely drawn to him. I managed to grab Lady Brandon's attention and asked them what they knew about this interesting young man.
And how did she explain this extraordinary fellow? She usually treats her guests exactly like an auctioneer treats his goods. Either they explain them completely away, or else they tell you everything you want to know about them. Well, almost everything.
That's harsh, Harry.
If you say so. You know, I remember hearing once that she'd attempted to open a high-end salon, but only succeeded in opening a budget restaurant. So, what did you manage to persuade her to tell you?
Oh, something along the lines of, I don't know what that particular chicken does. Let me see. Oh, yes, he plays a straight-born, from what I hear. Bit of a dish, though, isn't he? And when I told this to Mr. Gray, he started laughing, and we became friends right away.
Laughter is not at all a bad beginning for a friendship, and it is by far the best ending for one.
You would know what friendship was if you jumped up and danced and sang the national anthem in front of your face. If you do, you just pretend that you don't.
My dear Basil, surely you know by now that I choose my friends for their good looks, my acquaintances for their good characters, and my enemies for their good intellect. A man cannot be too careful in the choice of his enemies. My enemies are a wide and varied people, but not a one of them are fools. They're all men of some intellectual power, and consequently they all appreciate me.
Lord Wotton, the Carberry 1 o'clock appointment with the Miss Hilton has arrived.
I almost forgot. Miss Hilton is interested in working for me. It's only right that I show her all the positions I can. See you next week.
Oh, I'm afraid you can't come round next week, Harry. I'll be finishing off Dorian. The painting. I don't wish to be disturbed.
I will not disturb you. Besides, I'm eager to see this young muse of yours for myself. See you next week, Basil.
And here we are, sir. Welcome up. I hope you find everything to your liking.
Of course. Thank you, Victor. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this place to be so, well preserved. All this area was flattened during the war.
That was indeed the case for many of the houses in this area, sir. Some on this very street were hit directly. But members of the Gray family are, if you don't mind me saying, nothing if not lucky. Your grandfather was no exception.
Honestly, this place is the same old dump as it was in the photographs. I can't believe it hasn't changed in over 20 years. I'm surprised no one cleared it through. Most of this stuff belongs in a museum, not lying around cluttering the place up.
Sir, if I may, your grandfather was a very particular man. I would say that...
I am not my grandfather, Victor! You would do well to remember that. I mean, it's more than halfway through the 20th century, and this place is still stuck before the Boer War. I would like the rest of these things removed before the end of the week, when the rest of my things arrive. Am I clear?
Perfectly, Master Dorian. I shall inquire with the antique dealers in the morning.
Good, thank you, Victor. Have the rest of my bags brought to my bedroom and a tray of tea prepared for me in the study.
Of course, sir.
So, tell me more about Dorian Gray.
Harry, please. You've barely been here 5 minutes and you already want to talk about him. He's an inspiration. The work that I've managed to do with him has been the best I've ever done. He unlocks something in me.
If it is your best work, why will you not show it?
Because it is too good. It's too revealing. It seems to me that art nowadays can be seen as some sort of reflection of the artist's life. And I don't want that for me, or for him.
Tell me, is he fond of you?
He likes me. As a friend, I suppose. He knows how I feel about him. And he enjoys mocking me for it.
Perhaps one day he will grow tired of teasing you. Besides, you will be done with him soon and free to move on to pastures new and respectable.
He may grow tired of me, Harry, but I don't think I could ever tire of him. You wouldn't understand. You'd change too much.
The faithful only know the trivial side of love. It is the faithless that know its tragedies.
What?
I just remembered. My aunt, Lady Agatha, said she met an interesting young fellow at a charity ball the other evening who agreed to help her in the East End. She did not mention he was particularly good looking, however.
Harry, I think you should leave. I don't want you to be here when Dorian comes up.
Nonsense, I'm eager to meet him. You must be Dorian.
Hello, I didn't know there'd be someone else here. Basil, why didn't you tell me?
Dorian, this is Lord Henry Wotton. Harry, this is Dorian Gray. Don't worry, Dorian, Lord Henry won't be staying very long. In fact, you were just leaving, weren't you?
Basil has told me all about you, and I must admit, this portrait barely manages to do you justice. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you are quite familiar with my Aunt Agatha, is that right?
I'm afraid I'm currently in Lady Agatha's bad books. I promised I would go with her for afternoon tea last week in Whitechapel, but Basil insisted I come here instead at the last minute.
Well, I will apologise on your behalf. There'll be plenty of times you can have afternoon tea, seeing she's taken such a liking to you. You must not waste your precious time on activities you can simply repeat, Mr. Gray. Philanthropy is such a waste.
Come on, Dorian. Harry, I thought you were going to leave us so we can work in peace.
Seems I am not wanted here.
Nonsense, don't go. You know Basil, he gets in these funny moods sometimes. Besides, I don't get to meet many of his friends very often.
You don't really mind, do you, Basil? And besides, I think it would be good for Dorian to have somebody to talk to, for a change.
Well, I'm afraid there isn't that much left to do, Harry, so just keep still and don't talk to anyone. Don't listen to him, Dorian. He often says things he doesn't mean. Trust me, I've been his friend for nearly 5 years and he's a bad influence on everyone except for me.
Are you really that bad?
There is no such thing as a good influence. All influences are immoral.
Why is that?
It is because to influence a person is to change him. So much so that he does not think his own thoughts nor act the way he wishes to act. He becomes merely the echo of someone else's music, an actor playing a part that was not written with him in mind. I believe that the true goal of everyone should be to realize their true selves. We've forgotten that the highest duty is not to other people, but to ourselves.
Dorian, can you turn your head slightly to the right, please? Perfect.
I believe if we could live our lives completely and truly away from the influence of other people, with every man thinking and acting for himself, we could make a new and better world. A world free from the maladies of the past. Just imagine it, Dorian. No more sins, just people free to follow their passions. Passions that were once taboo, hidden and disguised, out in the open and without shame. You have passions, do you not, Mr. Gray? Passions that fill you with fear, thoughts that keep you up at night.
Dorian, just stay still, please. I want to get this bit done just right. Harry, you can smoke later when we're done.
Basil, can we take a break? I'm tired standing here and I want to talk to Lord Henry. I can't stay still and listen to him at the same time.
Just a moment, Dorian. I'm almost done.
Basil, I'm bored just standing here and I want to talk with Lord Henry. It's not fair that I should have to stand here and ignore him.
Don't know what Lord Henry has been saying to you, Dorian, but you
weren't being paid compliments all the time.
Just remember, don't listen to what he says.
You know, Basil was right about you. You really are a marvellous specimen of a man. You have the honour of having the two most important things in this world worth having.
And what's that, Lord Henry?
Youth and beauty, Mr. Gray. Beauty is a kind of true genius, and one of the best, for it does not need to be explained. It simply is, like sunlight on water or the darkness of seasons. Makes princes of those that have it. Enjoy it while you have it, because soon, well, soon it will be gone, like the blossoms on the cherry tree, all too soon. But for now, enjoy the beauty the gods have given you. Do not waste the golden years. Beauty fades. Limbs rot, senses fail. But youth, nothing in this world quite like it. Remember that.
How do you know all this?
Dorian, stay still. I'm almost done.
All in good time. All in good time. Say, why don't you join me after this and we can discuss it without interruption?
It's done. It's finished.
Oh, Basil, you must be absolutely over the moon. It truly is the most marvellous modern portrait I have ever seen. Mr. Gray, come and take a look for yourself.
Is it really finished?
Yes, of course, Dorian. Come, have a look. What's the matter, Dorian? Don't you like it?
Of course he does. There could not be a person in this whole world who did not. Listen, Basil. I will give you anything you ask for it. Name your price.
I'm sorry, Harry, but it doesn't belong to me. I promised it to Dorian.
This picture will always be young. It will never be older than it is right now.
Well, I suppose.
Well, it's not fair! Why can't it grow old instead of me? I'd do anything. I'd sell my soul if I had to.
Dorian!
Don't speak to me like I'm a child. What more do you want from me? I've seen the way you look at me, stare at me. It's disgusting.
Dorian, don't say things like that. I care for you. I always...
See, I don't think you do. I think you see me as just another one of your models, a tool, an object for you to fantasize about. Lord Henry's right. What's the point if it's just to grow old and lose all that we have?
Dorian, I don't see you like that at all. I see you as a friend, a good friend. It's just a painting. There's no need to be jealous of a painting.
But I am, Basil, don't you see? Every second I get older and that thing stays the same. I can't stand it. Why did you paint it? You knew it would upset me.
Harry, what did you say to him?
Nothing. This is merely the real Dorian Gray, that is all.
No, it is not.
Well, then if it is not, how am I responsible?
Fine. If the painting has offended you that much, then I'll just throw it away. It's not worth it.
No, leave it. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, so you do like it then? I was beginning to doubt it.
Of course I do. It's a part of me. I can feel it.
Right. Well, when you're dry, you'll be revarnished, framed, and sent home.
You two squabble like old washerwomen. It is just a picture, after all. I think you should let me have it, Basil. Clearly this silly boy does not want it at all.
Basil, that picture is of me and is rightfully mine. You promised me.
It's true, Harry. I did promise it to Dorian.
Very well, very well. Come, let us go out tonight. I know the place will be the perfect barn for all this hard work. You too, Basil.
Oh, I'm afraid I can't come out tonight, Harry. I have to clean the studio and prepare for my next project.
And yourself, Mr. Gray.
Dorian can't come either. He's dining with me tonight.
Basil, I already promised Lord Henry I'd go with him.
He won't like you anymore if you keep your promises, you know.
I'm going, Basil.
Goodbye, Basil.
Will I see you tomorrow, Dorian?
Of course.
You won't forget, will you?
He will not trust me. Mr. Gray, there is a car waiting for us outside. Until next time, Basil.
Goodbye, Basil. Have fun with your paintings. believe Agatha thinks you can change Whitechapel. Just look at it.
I agree. I have no desire to change anything about England, except the weather. Welcome to the Red Lotus, my personal hellfire club. That is Alan Campbell. He offers protectionary services for those who can pay, of course. Smoke comes fresh from the fields of Afghanistan. I have a contact there who grows it especially.
No, thank you, Lord Henry, I don't.
I first met this contact when I finished national service in Hong Kong back in '57. Afterwards we travelled much of Asia together, you know, Siam, Borneo, India, all those sorts of places. We arrived in his native Afghanistan in late '63. On the evening we arrived, he showed me how to make opium from a poppy that was just lying on the side of the road. Can you imagine? He said all he needed was a buyer in Britain or the United States of America, and soon he and the buyer would both be rich men, so naturally I went into business with him. Why not try it?
Perhaps another time.
Oh, come now, Dorian, there's no harm in pleasure. See, I told you it was good, did I not? A man just wants to be happy, you see, but society wants him to be good. However, when he is good, he is rarely happy, and when he is happy, he is always good. You want to be happy, do you not, Mr. Gray?
Of course. Of course.
Well, go on. Speak with her. Do not be timid, Dorian. That is the state for the hunter, not the hunted. Go.
I wouldn't know what to say. I wouldn't know where to begin. Forget it.
If you say so.
No, and it's probably her husband.
Yes, that was the most sensible choice. The most sensible choice indeed. Dorian, let me give you some advice. People die of common sense, one lost moment at a time. I suggest you remember that. And that life itself is just a moment. While we're here, I suggest you make your life burn at the hardest, most brilliant flame you can muster. Ah. It appears this girl is performing tomorrow night. Go and see her. I shall make her excuses with Basil.
Are you sure? Basil can be persistent when he needs to.
Do not trouble yourself, Dorian. Leave it with me.
Come and see our show. Come and see the show being performed at the theatre tonight. Come and see the show. Excuse me, my young lord. Perhaps our show would interest you.
I'm here to see Sybil Vane.
Ah, then you're in luck, my young lord. Miss Vane is performing in the show as we speak.
Interesting. What show is it?
Romeo and Juliet, sir. One of the Bard's truest masterpieces, if I do say so myself.
Personally, I find it overly done and overly simple. But I'm sure she brings something else to her role.
As you say, my young lord.
Anyway, I promised a friend I would come by. How much are tickets?
Well now, usually it's 6 pence a plate. But as the show has already started, I will give you a discount to say a groat.
What sort of discount is that? Very well, one ticket for the young lord.
eyes, coming from that death of contagion and a natural sleep, for greater power have thwarted our intents. Thy husband in thy bosom lies dead, and Paris too. Come, go, good Juliet, for I shall dispose of thee among a sisterhood of holy nuns. Dare not to stay to question, for the watch is coming. Come, go, good Juliet, I no longer stare.
Go get thee hence, for I will not away. What's this? A cup closed my true love's hand. Poison, I see, this timeless end. Oh, drunk all and left no friendly drop to help me thereafter. I will kiss thy lips. Happily, some poison just doth hang on them to help me die before it. My lips are warm.
Lead, boy, which way?
Yea, the noise. Then I'll be brief. Oh, happy dagger, this is thy sheath. There, rest, and let me die. Come in. Good evening, Al.
Evening, Sir. There's a young lord here to see you. Shall I let him in?
A young lord. Well, of course. Enter.
Good evening. I'm not really a lord. I'm not sure why he keeps saying that.
Albert must have taken a liking to you. He does that sometimes. So, what do you think of the performance?
I really enjoyed it. I particularly found your portrayal of the character to be just perfect. The way you portrayed Juliet's death it would have made Shakespeare proud. It was amazing.
Well, why, thank you, Mr.
Gray. Dorian Gray.
Dorian Gray, such a handsome name for a handsome man. I'm Sybil Vane. It's a pleasure to meet you. Hang on. Don't I know you from somewhere? Weren't you at the Red Lotus the other night?
Yes, I was with Lord Henry.
That's right, of course. I didn't know you knew Harry.
Yes, he's a friend of mine. Do you know him?
Of course I do. Everyone around here knows Lord Henry.
Anyway, he was the one who said I should come and see you. I spotted you the other night, but you were with your husband and left before I could come over.
Husband? You mean James?
What's so funny?
He's not my husband. He's my brother.
Great! I mean, good. In that case, would you like to perhaps go to dinner sometime? I would love to get to know you better.
Aren't you an interesting one? Well, I can't say no to a free meal. Here, meet me at the Red Lotus at this time and table and don't, really? No, you, excuse.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Miss Vane. I'll see you then.
Until tomorrow, my young lord.
Who is that?
Just an admirer. He enjoyed the performance and wants to take me out to dinner tomorrow.
Is that right? A joy to come with you. You could be some sort of pervert. Get those types in the theatre, you know.
Oh, don't be silly, James. We're just going to dinner around the corner. I'll be perfectly safe. Besides, his name is Dorian Gray, and he's a friend of Harry's.
What more is there to know?
Look, I can't back out now. I've already arranged it, and besides, you've always said that one day I need to find someone who can take good care of me. What with you running off to join the Navy and sail the 7 seas, I think it's time I find someone who can. James.
I don't want to, Sid. I have to. I promise, Mama.
James, listen to me. This man is rich. Maybe rich enough we can get out of this place. Don't you want that?
I do, Sid. You know I do. Just be careful, alright? I swear if anything happens to you, I'll kill him.
Sybil Vane, the finest actress in all of London. Sybil, this is Basil, the artist I was telling you about.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Dorian's told me so much about you.
All good, I hope.
Naturally.
Chat, shall I get us some drinks?
Not me. I think I know the barman and I might be able to get us a free one.
What will you have, Basil?
Is it too early for wine?
It's never too early. Here, darling, fetch the bottle.
I thought it was just going to be us today, Dorian.
Sorry, Basil, but Sybil and I have been coming here together for the last few weeks, and, well, when you said you wanted to meet us, I thought, why not kill two birds with one stone? I hope you don't mind.
No, of course not. I just wish that she didn't when she, I thought if you weren't when we were, well, in any case, she seems decent enough.
Basil, Sybil is more than decent. She's perfect.
I'm happy for you, Dorian. I just thought during our time painting a portrait that you still felt something. I don't know.
Basil, I still care for you, but I've moved on. It's time you did the same. Good choice, Sybil.
So, Basil, Dorian never told me how you two met.
Well, we met a few years ago. Where was it again, Dorian?
Cambridge, don't you remember? Honestly, it's painful since we getting to him at last.
Ah, yes, now I remember. Cambridge. We were part of a rowing club for a year back in '67, weren't we, Dorian?
Well, Dorian, you never told me you used to row. You must take me along the river one day.
Of course, my darling, perhaps later this week when the weather's better.
So, how did you two become acquainted?
At the theater. You came to visit me after one of my performances, didn't you, Dorian?
Trust me, Basil, if you'd have seen it, you would have done the same.
Oh, I don't know. You always seem to have much better luck at romance than I ever did.
That's because I didn't look for it in the gentlemen's bathrooms.
Dorian!
No, because more often than not, you would join me in those bathrooms, wouldn't you, Dorian?
How dare you accuse me of something so disgusting?
Calm down, Dorian. I'm sure he didn't mean that.
Yes, Dorian. But it's nothing to be ashamed about, really. Besides, I don't recall you complaining at the time.
Dorian, where are you going?
Come on, Sybil!
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's running into him. I can be so sensitive about such things.
Come on, Sybil, we're leaving!
It's okay. He doesn't like it when I tell the truth.
Now, Sybil!
It was a pleasure to meet you, Miss Vane.
Come in. Mr. Gray to see Lord Henry, my lady.
Mr. Gray, what a surprise.
Where's Lord Henry?
I'm afraid Henry's out at the moment. Oh, well, I don't believe we've been formally introduced. Well, forgive me, getting love is somewhat difficult these days. I'm Lady Wotton, Lord Henry's wife.
Dorian.
Oh, of course. Henry's spoken a lot about you recently. Well, please sit. I'm not sure when Henry will be back, but in the meantime, would you like some tea?
I wouldn't want to put you to any
Oh, well,
trouble.
It's no trouble. I have my cold brewers apart, don't worry.
Yes, my lady.
Could you brew us a pot of tea? The still on black will be fine. Do you take milk or sugar, Mr. Gray?
No, I was always told that milk would be bitter as wood and sharp as a two-edged sword.
Interesting. I didn't take you to be a religious man, Mr. Gray.
Oh, I'm not. It's simply something my grandfather told me to say when offered tea.
Oh, yes, I remember Henry talking about your grandfather, didn't he?
I would prefer not to talk about him if that's all right.
Oh. Of course. I do apologise. I didn't realise it was a sensitive issue. Didn't Henry tell you? The doctors say we're going to be having a boy. My husband wants to call him Henry after himself, but I much prefer Robert myself.
Ah, Martha, Michael sent you in here. And Mr. Gray, what a pleasant surprise. Martha, would you be so good as to leave us? I'm sure Mr. Gray would appreciate a moment without the hindrance of a female presence. Here, have a proper drink. Oh, it's been some time, my friend. To what do I owe the pleasure?
Harry, can I talk to you about something?
Of course. It is not often that our conversations are light, and I'm sure this one will be no different. What seems to be the trouble?
Tell me about your wife.
Beg your pardon?
I mean, how did you make her say yes? How did you manage her? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, why the sudden interest in marriage, Mr. Gray? Do you mean to tell me you have found someone?
Yes, I have found someone. To be engaged tomorrow if all goes to plan.
Well, this is surprising news. You must tell me all about her at once.
I asked you first. You tell me about your wife, and then I'll tell you everything.
Very well, very well. Lady Wotton is an interesting woman. There's a mania for going to church, and her dress clothes look like they've been arranged and put on in the middle of a tempest. She is usually enamoured with someone or another, though they are not usually so passionate in return, so her excursions into philandry tend to be brief. I rarely even notice them these days. She does try to look picturesque, though, but often ends up looking rather untidy. Never marry a woman with straw-coloured hair, Dorian. They're so sentimental.
Now isn't the time for one of your sayings, Harry. Are you going to give me some proper advice or not?
All right, I shall give you some advice. Never marry. Men marry because they are tired, women because they are curious. Both are disappointed. Tell me, who are you in love with?
Sybil Vane.
Oh yes, Sybil. Very unique woman. Very talented. At acting, my dear boy. Or so I have heard. I've not seen her perform in quite some time. How long have you known her?
About 3 months, though. I admit it doesn't feel like it.
When you're in love, you begin by deceiving yourself and end up deceiving other people. It's what's known in this world as romance.
It's so strange, Harriet. I can't stop thinking about her. We've been together every night after her performances. And, well, that's why we decided to get married so soon, to avoid an embarrassment.
Yes, I see. In which case, it appears I ought to congratulate you twice. I guess there was a reason you never came to see me anymore. I assumed someone or something had taken your interest, but I must admit I did not imagine it to be quite like this.
Neither did I. Tell you what, why don't you and Basil come and see one of her performances for yourselves? I'm sure I can get you tickets. You can bring Lady Wotton too.
Very well. Is she performing tomorrow?
Yes, at 8 o'clock.
Then it's settled. You, Basil, Martha and I will see your darling Sybil perform tomorrow evening. Do you want me to collect Basil on my way there? I heard you two had a bit of a falling out.
No, I'll take him. I haven't seen him in a while. I should go speak to him. Besides, there's nothing important. Just a disagreement about art. Anyway, I must be going. Sybil is performing this evening and I cannot miss it.
Go on. I do not want to keep you.
See you tomorrow then.
Until next time, Mr. Gray.
Picture of and what means these masterless and gory swords that lie discarded in this place of peace? Oh, Romeo! Oh, Pale! Who else? What? Paris too? Steeped in blood! Oh, when an unkind dower is guilty of this lamentable chance. Oh, the lady stirs.
Oh, come to a friar, where is my lord? I do remember well just where I should be, and there I am. Where's my Romeo?
I heard a noise. Oh, that one. Heard a noise, lady. Come from that place of death, and natural sleep, and contagion. Oh, thy husband in thy bosom lies dead, and Paris too. Come, go, good Juliet, for I shall dispose of thee among a sisterhood of holy nuns. Dare not to say to question, for there is very great power that we dare not to question. Come, go, good Juliet. I dare no longer stay.
Go get thee hence, for I will not away. What's this? Clothes, my true love's hand. Poison, I see, hath in his hand. Oh, Turl, oh, go and left no friendly doctor help me thereafter. I will kiss thy lips. Happily, some poison, yet was hang enough to help me die with a restorative. The lips are warm.
Lead, boy, which way?
Yea, a noise. Then I'll be brief. Oh, happy dagger, this is thy sheath. There, rust, and let me die.
Dreadfully sorry, Harry. That was... If you come any other night, then it would have been so much better than that mediocre... It was just dreadful. There's no other word for it.
Mr. Gray, that is no way to talk about your betrothed. It was just one bad performance. We all get them from time to time.
I do see what you mean, Dorian, but I agree with Lady Wotton. If you say she's a good actress... then I believe you! I still think you should marry her.
After that performance, why on earth do you think...
Harry, what a pleasant surprise. What did you think of the performance?
Oh, it is truly unique. Yes, truly unique.
I'm Lady Wotton, Lord Henry's wife. And you are?
Sybil Vane, your ladyship.
What did you think of it, Basil?
Sorry? Ah, yes. A very unusual interpretation of a role, Miss Vane. Yes, very unusual.
Could you leave us all alone for a moment? We won't be long.
Dorian, what's the matter?
What the hell was a fool of myself. Look who's talking. I've seen better acting outside a brothel. What the hell were you playing at?
It's all right, Dorian. Just listen to me. I have to give at least one bad performance once in a while. It's our company's tradition. And besides, I'll be with you soon, so what does that matter?
Be with me? After that performance, I can barely look at you.
It wasn't that bad, surely, Dorian. Come on, let's all grab a drink. I'm parched.
You acted poorly. You bored my friends. And worst of all, you made me look like an idiot in front of them and the rest of the audience.
Dorian, come on, this is not funny anymore. Let's go upstairs. I have a surprise for you.
After that performance, why do you think I would want to be anywhere near you? You know, before tonight, I was going to ask you to marry me.
Dorian, I'm growing tired of your games now. Dorian, look at me. Tell me you didn't mean that.
Why can't you get it into that thick skull of yours? Are all women this exasperating? I want you to stay away from me. I don't want anything to do with you.
What's gotten into you? I thought you loved me.
Loved you? I never loved you. I pitied you. Perhaps I was endeared by your talent in acting, but now that's gone. I see you for what you really are. Talentless, tasteless, poor. Get out.
Didn't you hear me? Get out. Out!
Wonder. Come in.
You called, sir?
Yes, Victor. Are you certain that Sybil got my letter?
Yes, sir. I delivered it to the theatre myself. I'll make sure that it gets into the right hands. Will that be all, sir?
Yes. If anybody else calls, just let them know I'm not in. Oh, and Victor, I want the painting moved today. The light in here is starting to affect it.
Well, of course, sir. Where do you wish it to be moved to?
To the old schoolroom upstairs.
The old schoolroom, sir. But if you'll beg my pardon, it'd be a great shame to...
I don't really care for your opinion, Victor. Get it done.
As you wish, sir.
I must see him at once.
I cannot allow you to do that, sir.
But I must see
It
him.
has not to be disturbed,
I
sir.
must see him. It is of utmost...
I'm sorry, sir.
Get out of my way, you fool!
Sir, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Victor, you can stay.
Sorry, Dorian, but I cannot bear the thought of you shutting yourself away here like this. You cannot be allowed to just sit and brood about it. It's not right. Not right at all. I mean, of course, I understand you must be feeling terrible. It is a truly tragic state of affairs, but it is not your fault. You understand? You are not to blame.
Oh, is this about Sybil Vane?
Yes, of course it is. What happened? Was there not a scene?
Of course there was. You know what women are like. Who knows? Maybe I'll ask her to marry me again. That is, if she hasn't already found someone else. You know, even when we were together, she couldn't keep her eyes to herself. Always looking up at another man across the bar, passerby, a waiter in a restaurant. Who knows? Maybe she'll be happy with someone like that. Scum clubs together, after all. I'm going to be going down to the theatre this afternoon to talk to her. Harry, what's the matter?
I thought... Oh, my dear boy, I thought you knew.
Knew what?
I'm not sure how I'm supposed to tell you this gently, but... Sybil Vane is dead.
What on earth are you talking about?
It's quite true. It's in the morning newspaper, page 4. I thought you would have seen.
But why? What happened?
It appears to have been some sort of an accident. They found her on her dressing room floor yesterday evening. According to the paper, she took too much of something. Do not ask me what. Whatever it is, one can only hope she died very quickly, within an instant.
Of course. Of course.
Yes, this is very unfortunate, but you must not let yourself get tied down by all this. Look, why don't you come and dine at mine this evening? Lady Wotton is practically bedridden, so she shan't disturb us. We can talk this over properly then, huh? What do you say?
She was a fool, even in death. A complete fool.
Sure. Only a matter of days ago, you were so infatuated with her, you were going to ask her to marry you.
Yes, I'm quite sure. As you said, it would have made us utterly miserable. Of course, I have no doubt I would have been kind to her. We must be kind to people for whom we feel nothing.
Well, I suppose you're right.
If I'm honest, I feel nothing for her now.
Well, this is a very unfortunate case. In this particular case, a girl has killed herself for the love of you. Now, the people who have loved me, there haven't been very many, but there have been a few. Well, they've gone on living their lives long after I've ceased to care for them, or they to care for me. One charm about the past is that it is just that, the past.
I just hope I'm redeemable.
Well, I'm afraid women appreciate cruelty more than anything. They have wonderfully primitive instincts. We may emancipate them, but they remain slaves looking for their masters nonetheless.
Enough. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It was an experience, that's all.
Well, come on then, let's go. I dislike leaving Lady Wotton alone for longer than necessary, given her condition.
No, thank you, Harry. I'm not hungry. Perhaps we can meet tomorrow for lunch at the Red Lotus.
As you wish. I'll see you tomorrow then, I hope.
Harry? Thank you for coming. Jim, to what toy of the pleasure? Can I get you something to drink and smoke perhaps?
I don't want to in my house. Toilet out of strung up there.
Jim, what happened to Sybil was very unfortunate.
So you know? How could you? She loved you. You know, every week at sea, I get a new letter about young Lord Dorian Gray. He did so well. So proper. Until last week when they stopped. I came sure this morning too late to say
Jim, I'm terribly sorry.
I'm not the one you should be saying sorry to. Did you know she was carrying a child? She's going to have a fucking child and you kill her. You kill them both.
Jim, wait, explain!
You are able to run from this story. None of your money can save it. I'll find it.
What on earth? Dorian! You all right, my boy?
Fine. Thank you, Harry. I think I need to leave London for a while.
It's a good idea. I have a summer home by the coast you can use. The sea air is said to be good for you, though I find the odour of fish understandable. Lady Wotton and I won't be using it in the near future. You can stay there if you like until the public have found a new topic to talk about and forgiven you completely. The public are wonderfully tolerant. They forgive anything, except genius.
Thank you, Harry, but I was thinking of going further afield.
To where?
To everywhere. Why not come with me? We're both free men. Let's see the world.
I would if I could, but alas, it would not do for a man of my station to go gallivanting across the seven seas when Lady Wotton was about to have my child so imminently. But tell me everything.
Of course, Harry. Promise.
somehow lucky that I ran into you like that. You know, I came by here earlier to see if you're in, but your butler said you'd gone out. Dorian, what's happened to your face?
Oh, nothing. I was leaving the Red Lotus and I tripped.
I see. So anyway, I'm having an exhibition in Paris in a few days, and I was wondering, would you lend me that painting I did for you earlier in the year? I want to make it my principal piece, you see.
And why would you want to do that?
Well, Dorian, it's my best work, despite what you may say about it. I also want to take it somewhere where the rumours...
Oh, stop, Basil. I'm tired of rumours. Sybil is gone. I've moved on. There's nothing else to say about it.
But Dorian, you were going to ask her to marry you. It's only natural for you to want to grieve.
But I broke off the engagement, Basil. Don't you see? Honestly, do you really think she was worth my time after that performance? Besides, she was clearly unstable if her first reaction was to end her own life. Childish, really.
So it's true. You drove a woman to take her own life. What sort of man does that, Dorian? What sort of... I want that painting back.
You can't. You gave it to me, remember?
Where is it?
You can't have the picture, Basil.
Dorian, you said you were going to hang it right here in this room.
I did. The light was starting to affect it, so I moved it.
Don't lie to me, Dorian. I'm an artist. It's my job to know when people are lying to me. So just tell me where the painting is, and then I'll be on my way.
Fine. If you want it so much, you can have it. Come on, it's this way.
Thank you. You keep it up here?
What's the matter, Basil?
It's... The painting is...
Different, yes. Just look at it, Basil. It's a miracle.
It's an abomination.
Basil, look at me. Look at me. I'll never age, never lose my beauty, all thanks to this picture that you created.
No, Dorian, can you not see that this thing is wrong? This thing must be destroyed. Wait here while I get a priest or a spirit worker or someone who can help us. We can stop this together, Dorian.
Please, don't.
But why not? Listen, I'm done talking. Just wait here while I get a priest. We can talk later when... Dorian? Oh!
Did anybody call while I was away?
Mr. Basil called at around 6 o'clock in the evening and was still waiting for you when I went to bed.
Is that so? Did you say anything?
Just to say that he was going to Paris in a couple of days and wished to see you before he went.
I see. You know, Victor, I think I'm going to start my own travels today. This morning, in fact.
Would you like me to pack you a bag?
No, it's already done. That reminds me, there's a trunk outside the old schoolroom. It's full of all the junk that I no longer need. I would like it disposed of. Do not open it. It is packed very tightly and will all come spilling out. Make such a mess. I would like it gotten rid of immediately, if possible.
Of course, sir. It should be done directly.
Come in.
Lord Henry Wotton, sir.
Harry, how are you?
Well, Dorian, thank you. Tell me, have you seen our artistic friend Basil recently? I was supposed to meet him for breakfast early this morning before his train to Dover, but he never arrived.
I'm afraid not. He apparently called last night, but I was at the Red Lotus.
It's not like him to miss breakfast. Oh well, never mind. He has a habit of disappearing and appearing whenever he is least expected.
Be careful with that. It may be full of junk, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't be careful. I was going to call on you today.
Is that so?
Yes, I was going to say I'm starting my own journey this morning. I think I'll call on Basil in Paris, see how he's doing.
An excellent plan, Dorian. I would have gone with you, but my wife would be hopeless without me.
Well, don't worry, I'll send him your regards and I'll tell you of all my adventures.
Thank you, my boy. I'm beginning to feel my life is becoming increasingly drab of late, but I'm sure your letters will prove fascinating beyond belief. But for now, I must go. I'm meeting a potential investor in an hour. Mustn't keep her waiting. You know how women can be.
Indeed I do, thanks to you. Goodbye, Harry. Good luck.
Goodbye, Dorian. I hope to see you in person again soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, one cues of the interval, and will be your interval drinks up.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Especially in the south. Although with a bit of luck, I think we're going to see rather more second medical signs.
Acquired immune deficiency syndrome.
Ministry of Defence announced tonight that the destroyer Sheffield came under an Argentine missile attack.
At the corner of Cold Harbour Lane, a four-storey building collapsed after being set alight by
has ended in disaster. The spacecraft Challenger exploded just over a minute after.
Today, we are charged with the responsibility of government.
Yes, 71.12%.
Robert, you put that damn thing down, you twit.
Sorry about that. Terrible business with Clinton, isn't it, Father?
I'm not in the least bit surprised that the President of the United States of America was found in such a compromising position. After all, America is the only country that went from barbarism to decadence without civilization in between.
I can't imagine this would happen in England or France, for that matter.
My dear Robert, when good Americans die, they go to Paris.
And the bad ones?
Well, they stay in America.
You weren't expecting anyone else, were you, Father? What on residence? Who is calling?
Is Lord Henry there? It's his friend, Dorian Gray.
Dorian? Well, what are you doing standing there, boy? Catching flies? Let him in, let him in. Dorian!
Harry.
Oh, it is good to see you.
It's good to see you too. You're looking well.
I could say the exact same about you. Oh, you look so magnificent after all these years. It is quite remarkable.
So you're Dorian? I must admit I thought you were just made up. Some of the stories I've heard about you are fantastical, to say the least.
Then I must assure you they are all completely true.
In any case, let me be the first to welcome you back. You remember my wife, Martha, and that young man is my son, Robert, and...
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Gray.
I don't believe I have the honour of meeting Miss...
Victoria.
Victoria?
My daughter.
Our daughter, Martha. Dorian has done his fair share of travelling as well, Victoria.
Is that right? We'll have to talk about that sometime.
The pleasure would be all mine, Miss Wotton.
I grow tired of this gaggle. Dorian, let us speak alone. I'm sure you have much to tell me, and whatever it is, I doubt it is sensitive, suitable for. Sensitive, yes. If you all would not mind, Mr. Gray and I would like some privacy.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Gray.
And you, Miss Wotton.
It is good to see you after all these years, Dorian.
Good to see you too, Harry. You're looking great, and I remember.
Yes, well, I can't agree with that assessment. I'm looking grayer than I remember too, truth be told. I must admit, I feared for the worst when your letters stopped coming from Iran in, was it 78 after that earthquake? I feared you'd been taken hostage by some Arab up in the mountains, forced to carry him hither and thither like a common camel. But here you are. So tell me, why are you really back?
The world is a magnificent place, Harry, but when you look closely at the people and all the cultures of the world, you find them all built on the same thing. War, bones, sin. The list could go on, but they are the pillars of the world society. I'm just tired of it all.
You do not look it. I had heard you had passed through all the realms of debauchery, drunk deep from all the poisons known to man, and yet it has not left a mark on you. I wish I could say the same for myself.
Tell me, do you remember when we first met?
Of course, in Basil's studio. He was painting that portrait of you. Those were the golden days.
Indeed they were. I felt so free back then. Little care for the world or the people in it.
I see now why you have lost your passion for life, Dorian.
Why is that?
You have been away from me too long. Come, let us go to the Red Lotus like in years gone by. That will serve as a balm for the both of us.
Harry, I've missed you. But the Red Lotus is a dump. What happened to it?
Time, my dear boy, time. And my failing patronage. Funny thing, time. For example, by the time it was realized that the inhalation of tobacco had an adverse effect upon the lungs, or alcohol upon the liver, well, let's just say it was too late for the likes of me. I am told tumors infect the majority of my organs. I shall be gone before the new millennium. Physicians are such a hopeless people. But I must admit, dying so close to the dawn of a new era feels somewhat like being disqualified from a race half won. It's typical, really. My elder brother refuses to die, and my younger brothers seem to do little else. I should have known I would be next.
Sorry, Harry, I didn't realize it was that bad.
I do not need your pity, Dorian. I have enough of that from my wife and family, believe me.
It's time for your treatment now.
Yes, in a moment, my dear. My treatments, like putting wheels on a tomato. Utterly time-consuming and completely pointless. No, they are becoming somewhat of a habit these days. Unfortunately, I must say goodbye for now, Dorian. But do come back soon. Tell me everything. Oh, Dorian.
Yes?
You didn't by chance hear from our friend Basil on your journeys, did you? Yes, he never came back from Paris with your painting.
I'm afraid I haven't seen either in quite some time, Harry. Hello there.
Hey! For a moment I thought you were Robyn at all. Worse, my mother.
I doubt you'd be impressed you're indulging in the same vice that put your father in this thing he's in.
What? You or the cigarette? He used to say, a cigarette is the perfect type of pleasure. It is exquisite and leaves one unsatisfied. Besides, it's only once or twice when I come to visit him. Visit? He didn't tell you. He and my mother separated ages ago.
He has a habit of not telling me things.
It was after she read one of your letters. You know, the one where you mentioned my father's patronage of the Red Lotus. I read it too. It wasn't that bad, but still. It was all the evidence she needed to finally divorce him.
Victoria!
I'd better go.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Miss Wotton.
And you, Dorian.
Vane.
What on earth are you talking about?
Oh, you don't remember? Let me jog your memory. Sybil Vane was my sister, and you killed her. Ring any bells, Dorian Gray?
Wait, please, put the knife down. How long ago was this?
What?
How long ago did your sister die?
27 years. What do years matter?
Look at me, I'm barely 20 years old. Please, you've got the wrong person, just put the knife down.
No.
Believe what happened at work today.
What happened, Robert?
Well, I was at the back putting some figures when the sandwich lady comes round. You know, the sandwich lady who goes around and asks the bankers what they'd like to eat for lunch. I think Shaw wanted a cheese sandwich, Perkins wanted a ham sandwich, or was it Jem? Yes, it was a Jem sandwich because Perkins always has Jem sandwiches on Fridays. Don't ask me why. Then Thompson said he would either have the first sandwich they made or none at all. After that, Briggs said he would have a cheese sandwich with watercress. Then the sandwich lady came to me and I said I would have a cheese sandwich too.
Fascinating.
I'm not finished.
Ignore her. Tell me what happened. Show your brother some respect. At least he's got a job that pays.
As I was saying, I said good morning to the sandwich lady, and after that I said I would have a cheese sandwich too. So imagine my surprise when after taking a bite of my freshly made sandwich, I discovered the presence of watercress. I immediately phoned Briggs to see if he had any watercress in his sandwich, as he has asked for, and he told me no, he hadn't gotten any. However, when I offered to trade sandwiches, he refused, saying that because I had taken a bite, he did not want any.
Oh my God, Robyn, you're so boring. Why can't you at least pretend to be interesting like Father or Mr. Gray?
Believe me, my dear, it's far better that men be like your brother than Mr. Gray.
And what's that supposed to mean?
What I mean is that the men of this world can be divided into two groups. The first are like your brother. They are hardworking, decent, and loyal. They'll go out to work in the morning and return home in the evening to their wives and children. However, the second group, which includes Mr. Gray and, I dare say, your father, are dishonest, deceitful, and lazy. They spend their days in casinos and other evening establishments, spending their money without a care for the thoughts and feelings of others. They are repulsive.
I disagree. I thought Mr. Gray was rather charming.
Well, of course you would, my dear. But believe me, men like that are like trees in the forest that only grow tainted fruit. They're so tempting until you take a bite and realise that they're full of poison.
Quite right, Mother.
Shut up, Rob. This is none of your business.
Victoria, that is no way to speak to your brother.
What, so he can keep boring us to death with his stories about fucking sandwiches, but the minute I tell him to keep his fat nose out of other people's business, that's somehow too much. Screw it, I'm off!
Victoria, where are you going? Victoria,
Let her
come
go.
back!
She'll be back soon. You'll see.
I don't know what's gotten into her recently.
Isn't it obvious, Mother?
What do you mean? What's obvious?
Well, I was at the bank the other day and I heard some people talk about it over their sandwiches. I I think it was Hodgson telling Briggs, or was it Briggs
Could you
telling...
get to the point, Robert?
Anyway, I think Victoria and Mr. Gray are perhaps seeing each other.
I beg your pardon?
Well, it was just what I heard, and besides, you know all the rumours that surround Mr. Gray. Surely all of them can't be true. It's a mathematical certainty.
We shall see. But mark my words, the sooner Mr. Gray leaves London, the better.
So what you're saying is, you didn't see anything and you're in bed asleep by 9:30?
Yes, I get up early most mornings, so I'm usually ready for bed by about 9 o'clock.
And what's that mark on your neck, Mr. Gray?
I was shaving last night. I must have too quickly given myself a friction burn.
A friction burn? Are you sure about that, Mr. Gray?
Positive, Inspector.
Well then, that is enough questions, Mr. Gray. For now.
If we have any more questions, we'll let you know.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Miller! Oh, and Mr. Gray, if you remember any more details or any more shaving incidents, you know where we are.
Of course, Inspector. Come in. Victoria, a pleasant surprise.
What drinks?
How are you doing?
Yeah. I just came by to see if you're alright.
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be?
I read this morning that some old homeless man died not far from here. Didn't you hear about it?
No, I don't read the papers. Did they say what happened?
No, probably a gang thing or a mugging gone wrong. At least that's what the papers said.
I appreciate your concern, but as you can see, I've got something to be getting on with.
What's that?
It's just some notes I was writing about my travels for your father. They're not finished.
My, Dorian. The scandal this would cause. This would make the Marquis de Sade blush if they got out.
Thank you, I'll take that as a compliment. Now, why are you really here?
I told you. I wanted to make sure you're alright.
Tell the truth.
The truth is, I know it sounds strange, but I can't stop thinking about you. I heard stories about you when I was growing up, usually whispered from behind closed doors, but I heard enough. Such wild stories from all corners of the world. Like, is it true you slept with every woman in the White House?
And number 10.
You must be joking.
I'm not. I get Christmas cards for them each year because of it.
Fascinating, Dorian. Every time I close my eyes, I see your face.
Victoria, please, you're daughter of one of my oldest friends. Whatever you think you're doing or want me to do,
Oh, come on, Dorian. I won't tell if you don't. Don't tell me the famous Mr. Gray has become shy.
Far from it. But my travels have given me a certain wisdom, Miss Wotton. I find it's better to stay away from the relatives of close friends. No matter how interesting they might be, it's easier that way when you move on.
Do you find me interesting, Mr. Gray?
You certainly piqued my interest, Miss Wotton.
I can see that.
Would you perhaps like something to drink?
Oh, it's Mother. I should probably go before she calls the police or puts me on missing persons register or something like that. But keep on calling. I'll be back for it soon. Goodbye for now, Mr. Gray.
Victor? Victor, is that you? Victor, I thought I told you not... Sybil?
Sybil. Sybil.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here? What are you doing here?
I don't understand. You're dead.
You're dead. What are you doing
This
here?
isn't real. This isn't real. Sybil, you're dead. You've been dead for 20 years.
Dead for 20 years. This isn't real.
Sybil?
You're dead. You're dead for 20 years.
Sybil,
You're dead.
I'm sorry for what happened, but
You're dead.
I can't change it. I've moved on.
You're dead.
Please,
You're dead for
stop
20
this.
years.
I'm sorry.
You're dead.
Basil?
Basil.
This isn't real.
Basil.
You're dead.
Basil.
Sybil, please,
Basil.
I loved you.
I loved you.
I loved you.
Basil,
I loved
you knew too much about the painting.
I loved you.
I couldn't let you live. I couldn't let you just go.
Couldn't let me live. Couldn't let me live.
I didn't want this.
Go.
If there was any other way, believe me.
I love
Lord
you.
Henry said,
Lord Henry said.
stop it.
Lord Henry said. Believe me.
Please, stop.
Lord Henry said. Believe me.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Dorian. Dorian.
Stop it.
Dorian? Dorian, are you all right, sir? I was calling your name, but you weren't answering.
I'm fine, thank you, Victor. What do you want?
The Honourable Robert Wotton is on the telephone, sir. Apparently Lord Henry's taken a turn for the worst.
Is that so? Tell him I'll be there shortly.
As wish, sir.
Glad you could come. I think he's on his way out.
I'm glad you're here.
Dorian! Good to see you, my lord.
Good to see you too, Harry. How are you doing?
Oh, never better. Never better.
Robert said you'd taken a turn for the worse.
And what would he know about such things? I'm sorry to inconvenience you at such a late hour, old friend. I understand you've gotten quite familiar with my daughter.
It's not like that, Harry, as tempting as she might be.
Well, I am, of course, in no position to judge. But, if we had seen her at the Red Lotus, I would advise you to become close to her, if you catch my drift.
Well, if you say so, it would be rude to refuse.
Just make sure the fiery dragon is dealt with her. And with any luck, the princess shall be yours.
What are you two talking about?
Old times, my darling. Days long since past. Were we not, Dorian?
Yes, yes.
If you all would not mind, I have something I would like to say to my wife, and I would like a little privacy.
Of course, Father. Victoria, Dorian, let's go for a walk.
See you soon, Harry.
Take as long as you need, my boy.
Need sandwiches I had at work.
Oh my God.
Alone at last. Now, how about one last hurrah around the hillside, for old time's sake?
Henry, you're not well, and besides, the children could be back any minute.
It was worth a try. I'm scared. Oh,
Henry,
I want you to know I am sorry. Oh, I suppose it is the lot of aged men to realize their mistakes
and they are most powerless to correct.
Henry, you were ghastly to me when we were married. But we were different people in a different time, and I accept your apology.
Thank you, my dear. Now, would you mind getting me that bottle of whiskey I've been saving? It's in the other room. Would you get it for me? I feel that I may indulge in a few glasses, but not before I've rested my eyes.
Of course, you just wait here. Henry, I couldn't find the... Henry? Henry!
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Bless you, my son. In this modern world, we often become distracted from the true path, and one day we must all return. Tell me your sins, and be forgiven by the Lord.
I'm not sure quite where to begin, Father.
I understand. I would suggest that you start from the beginning and continue until the end. Don't worry, I have nearly 10 years of experience, and as little I have not yet heard. As the angel Gabriel said unto the shepherds on the hill, do not be afraid.
Father?
Yes, my son?
I believe I have seen my soul.
Indeed, but that's not possible. Souls are not of this realm, my son. Only the Lord may see our souls.
I have seen mine.
Where have you seen your souls?
In a painting, Father.
A painting? Well, what makes you think that this painting is your soul, my son?
It is my soul, Father. With each sin it blackens, each scar it's cut instead of me, each disease I catch it contracts. I have seen my soul, Father, and it is rotten to the core.
You must be mistaken, my son. Paintings can often become damaged through improper care. It doesn't reflect the soul anymore.
Look at me! I'm nearly 50 years old, and yet since that painting has been completed, I haven't aged a day. So bored, Father. I've slept with whores for days at a time, drank nothing but the finest wines, and eaten nothing but the finest foods, and yet I'm not changed. How do you explain that, Father?
It's you. You're Dorian Gray. Get out.
But I came here for help, Father.
You're far beyond any help I can give you. Leave. Get out of this house and come at once.
Thank you for your time, Father. Victoria.
Dorian, fancy seeing you here. I didn't take you to be a religious man.
I'm not. I was just trying. Never mind. Why are you here?
I'm here with Mother. She's been trying to convert me since Father died.
She has any luck?
Oh, please, Dorian. It'll take more than free wine to do that. Besides, if I keep having this many important lunches with priests, I'll soon be wider than I am tall. I think she's going to be busy for a while. After church, she usually goes to her friend's book club and isn't normally back until late. Do you perhaps want to join me?
It would be my pleasure. fine as long as it's alcoholic.
Will this do?
Perfect.
Cheers.
Cheers. So, what do you normally do when you have the place to yourself?
Oh, you know, I smoke the hidden cigarettes, I drink the forbidden drinks, I listen to music. I have a CD player in the next room if you want to.
No, stay. You seem to know a lot about me, Miss Wotton, but the same thing won't be said for yourself. You had Lord Henry as a father. You must have some interesting stories.
I see. Well, I was born in 78, a few years after Robert. Although in a hospital, Queen Charlotte in Hammersmith. Surely you've heard of it? Anyway, not long after that, my parents divorced and they sent me off to boarding school. I'm not sure what you've heard about boarding schools, Dorian, but they're dreadfully boring. At least I only had to see the family during holidays. After that, Mother wanted me to become a nurse. Can you imagine? So I said I'd take a gap year, which became 2 and then 3 and so on. I travelled the world, Asia mostly, you know, Thailand, spent a few months in Borneo with the orangutans and in India with the elephants. But not long after that, I heard about Father and, well, the illness. So I made my way back here.
Very noble, Miss Wotton.
I can't wait to go back there.
It's a beautiful part of the world. Do you know when your mother will be back?
Not for a while. Why do you ask?
Oh, no reason.
Come on. There's always a reason.
Why? I thought I heard a noise.
Do you know what I think? I think you want to kiss me. Someplace she wouldn't see it.
And why do you think that?
Because you had that stupid look on your face that boys always have when they want to kiss a pretty girl.
Victoria!
Mother! I didn't...
Victoria, leave us! Now? Oh, Mr. Gray, what a surprise. I was wondering when I might find you here. Suppose my late husband gave you the idea.
Actually, it was Victoria.
Don't say her name. She is a foolish child. Oh, well, at least she's 21, so... But that wouldn't matter to you, pig.
Miss Lady Wotton, please, calm down.
Calm down? Calm down, oh, Mr. Gray. I know exactly what sort of man my former husband was and the kind of company he kept. When I was bedridden, pregnant with his children, where was he? Where was he? He was off in that opium den with you and that faggot, Basil even. Even on the day when his only son, Robert, was born, he was off having breakfast with you. And when he came back, it didn't matter, the moment was gone. His son was born at the bottom of the stairs on the copy of the bloody Times. So I shall say this, because he never would have. Stay away from my daughter.
Martha.
Lady Wotton, if you please.
Lady Wotton. I know this will be difficult for you to comprehend, but I care for your daughter, and I just want her to be happy. Can you at least understand that?
Do you think I would let her anywhere near you after today? No, I will not have her engulfed by men like you. Men like you poison women, trapping them in your homes. No, I will not have her corrupted by the likes of you.
By the likes of me? You have no idea. Victoria, can you come in here?
Dorian, Mother, what's going on?
Your mother has forbidden us from seeing each other.
What?
Victoria, listen to me, it's not like
No, I love Dorian. Why can't I be with him?
She says that I'm a bad influence and you were too naive to notice.
I'm not a child, Mother.
Victoria, I didn't say that. What I meant was that...
You'll end up just like her.
That's insane. Dorian isn't like Father.
But he was his friend, and
Just what?
just scared for you.
Scared for me.
Yes, I am scared for you. I know exactly what sort of man your father was, and the
I agree. She doesn't. In fact, it's becoming increasingly clear to me that she is just jealous of us. I think that she wants to split us apart so she can have you all to herself, like a personal servant in her old age.
I would rather see her alone than with a snake like you.
You see, she doesn't care about you, Victoria, but I do.
Oh, Victoria, please, you know that's not true. I only want what's best for you.
I'm sorry, but I don't think you do. If you did, you wouldn't be trying to split us apart. I want to be with Dorian, whether you like it or not.
Very well. If that's how you feel, how you truly feel, then I cannot stop you. I'm sorry, Victoria, but I'm going to have to ask you both to leave.
Don't worry. We were just going.
Victoria, wait. Just know that you shall always have a place in this house, should you want it.
Goodbye, Mother.
Don't worry, we'll show ourselves out.
Can you believe it? This time tomorrow it'll be a new century, a new millennium. It's exciting, isn't it?
Of course not.
Oh, come on, Dorian. You can at least pretend to be excited. I heard the fireworks tonight are going to be spectacular. Do you think we can see them from here?
I doubt it. You know, the view from my study is spectacular. You can see most of London from it. So you can watch them from there.
That sounds great. Should I get us something to drink?
No, you go ahead. I'll get something. I think that off license back there is still open. Do you know which door is for the study?
It's the first one on the right, isn't it? I remember your butler showed me when this policeman came over, but what about the old schoolroom? Is that the
No. Don't go in there. It's far too dangerous, practically falling apart. And besides, it's a complete mess. It's full of personal objects from my travels that you wouldn't want to see. Trust me, the view from the study will be fine. Or we could just watch it on the TV.
But you don't have a TV.
Quite right. But just promise me that you won't go in there, okay?
Okay, I promise. Just don't be too long.
I told you not to come in here.
I know. I'm sorry, but your study was locked and I thought there might be some keys here.
Sybil.
Besides, I thought I heard something
Sybil.
like a bird or something that
Sybil.
was stuck in here. I didn't
Sybil.
expect to find that. What kind of
Sybil.
weirdo paints something like that?
Sybil.
You know, put it close to me.
Sybil.
I could swear it
Sybil.
looked like you.
Sybil.
Be quiet, Sybil!
What did you just call me?
Nothing, darling. Come, let's go downstairs.
No, Dorian, you called me Sybil. I know about Sybil then. I heard my parents talking about her when I was a girl.
Don't be silly, Richard.
And her brother was James Vane. And that was the homeless man who died on the street a couple of months ago. The paper said his name the other day. My mother said one of my father's friends killed her.
That's not true. I didn't kill her. It was nothing to do with me.
But she did that because of you. She killed herself because you dumped her. Oh my God. Were you the one who killed her brother too?
Victoria!
You never found the guy who stabbed him. Ran off before they could figure out who he was. And that artist, he disappeared the day you left. I bet he wanted his painting back, didn't he? And you didn't like being so
Victoria!
killed him. Isn't that right?
Stop it!
Were you the one who killed her brother too? Did you find out you're still alive after all this time? Barely aged a day. Did you find out your dirty little secret, Dorian? Oh, how old are you? You fucking pervert! 40, 50, fucking 60!
That's enough!
No! You're a liar and a fucking murderer, Dorian! I should have listened when my mother warned me about you. She was right! I can't believe it, she was fucking right!
Where do you think you're going?
I'm leaving.
I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
Let me go!
Can you go to the police? I don't think so.
Get off me!
As you said, you know we're dirty and secret now.
Get off me! Get off me, you monster!
Monster? I am exactly what your father made me. I live the life he preached but never dared practice. I am everything he was too afraid to be. Victoria! Where are you going? Victoria! Victoria!
No!
No!
It is bloody typical, Miller. It is nearly midnight, 1999 on New Year's Eve, and we're stuck out here doing this. Come just wait till morning.
I don't know, sir. I think it's rather exciting. Better than being stuck at that office party.
Mr. Gray. Mr. Gray, please open this door. It is Inspector Hardy of Sergeant Miller. We are here following a call of disturbance. Mr. Gray. Mr. Gray, if you do not open this door, we will have to use forced entry. Mr. Gray. Mr. Do you have the key that she gave you?
Yep. Inspector, I found something. Who do you think it is?
Well, whoever they are no longer with us. Yes, hello. This is Inspector Hardy requesting forensics and a backup team for an assault has been committed.
Do you think it's him, sir? I remember when we were talking to him about James Vane. He looked young, barely 20, but this one, he's been through the wars, hasn't he?
Miller,
Oh, sorry.
as I was saying, the deceased looks around 60, 70 years of age, and multiple physical injuries and the latest stages of venereal diseases. Also, I shall request a missing persons report and a nationwide arrest warrant for a certain Mr. Dorian Gray.
So who's that girl there?
as a committee and as a theatre society, thank you for putting 4 years of your life into this.
This is fine, don't worry.
Not as the whole theatre
Yeah.
society, and like, we're going to miss you, so.
Thank you. Thank you.
Indebted to 3 really special people who always say they never get thanks.
Lauren, get your
Lauren and Madeleine. Absolutely wonderful backstage team. We've got you
Come on.
Every single one of you. It's amazing.
Yes, Dorian. It's nothing to be ashamed about, really. Besides, I don't recall you complaining at the time.
Collier, where are you going? Come on, Sybil! I am so sorry. I don't know what got into him. Men can be so sensitive about such things. Come on, Sybil, we're leaving.
It's all right. He doesn't like it when I tell the truth.
Now, Sybil!
Pleasure to meet you, Miss Vane.
Water! Okay, Dorian, that is enough. I'm growing tired of your games now. Dorian, look at me. Tell me you didn't mean that. Why can't you get into that thick skull of yours? A role woman is exasperating. I
Want you to stay away?
want you to stay away from me. I don't want you anywhere near me. Dorian, what got into you? I thought you loved me. Loved you? I never loved you. Pitied you. Perhaps I was endeared by your talent for acting, but now that's gone. I see you for what you really are. A talentless, tasteless paw.
Ooh.
Get Out! Didn't you hear me? Get out! Out!
Good.
In the circle of life.
You come here often? Wow.
There she is.
I'll give you £5 on my makeup.
Well, I'm very good at makeup. I can make it more ethically diverse.
What's changing my name?
What's in a name?
I told him that I put my not in front of the kids. Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze. It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's a problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata.
Moose are killers. Seriously.